Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Should You Play, where I show you some spoiler-free gameplay and give you my thoughts after playing new games for a few hours, while also highlighting and checking out at least one of the PlayStation Plus games for each month. In this video I'm playing Marvel Mystic Mayhem, the mobile strategy game where heroes and villains alike team up with each other to stop a threat to the waking world. I was cautiously optimistic about this one. I hadn't watched any of the gameplay videos before it released, but anytime you hear the words mobile game alongside a well-known brand like Marvel, you tend to proceed with caution. Fortunately though, the game is actually pretty good. It's not amazing, but for a mobile game it left me pleasantly surprised, so let's talk about it.
Time is of the essence. Let us begin at once.
As soon as you boot up the game, Marvel Mystic Mayhem throws you into the start of Nightmare's attack on the world as Doctor Strange gives Scarlet Witch, Hulk, and Moon Knight an opening to take him down. The four heroes are unable to stop him right away, but Sleepwalker appears before Doctor Strange and agrees to lend a hand in stopping the villain from plunging the world into a living nightmare. So Marvel Mystic Mayhem is a tactical RPG with some light idle combat elements. In most matches, you put together a team of 3 characters and battle opponents in short and strategic battles that usually last no longer than a minute or two, and if things do feel like they're being dragged out, there is an option to play out the battle in double speed. The game doesn't rely on frantic tapping or anything like that, and instead asks you to slow down and think about your moves, because every action matters here. Each character comes with their own set of skills, whether that's dealing damage, moving across the battlefield, applying buffs or debuffs, healing, or unleashing powerful ultimate attacks.
In the name of Dream Justice, I expunge you!
Your team also shares a mana pool that recharges over the course of the fight, so you can't just spam your strongest attacks over and over, and will occasionally have to think about which ones to use first and which to save for a bigger moment. The combat can remain a little confusing after you get through the basic tutorial since there's still a good amount to learn about the game, but it also does a decent job of gradually teaching you about all of the different mechanics and systems involved. That said, the character AI isn't always the sharpest, so you can't just rely on that to get through the games. I ran into a mission where I had to destroy an object before my opponent would take any damage, and the character AI just kept on focusing on the boss instead, so it became a bit of an issue when I went into fights that used different combat mechanics. Marvel Mystic Mayhem also currently features a roster of 26 characters, including familiar names like Hulk, Iron Man, and Doctor Strange, as well as a good selection of lesser-known ones like Man-Thing, Sleepwalker, and Lady Bullseye.
Work with heroes? Sure, for the right price.
Every character falls into one of 4 classes, with those being Strikers, Controllers, Defenders, and Fighters. Strikers like Misty Knight are ranged damage dealers that focus on attacking individual opponents, where Fighters like Psylocke are close-range brawlers. Defenders like Hulk are more akin to tanks and focus on attacking groups and taking damage, and Controllers like Sleepwalker are essentially your support class. Characters level up individually, but they can't go past your player level, and as you continue playing, you'll be able to upgrade skills using the talent tree, enhance their stats with highlights, and boost attributes like attack or defense using the Soul Saga system. Camera controls are a bit limited during battles, only really letting you move the viewpoint a couple of degrees to the left or right, but it's not a big issue since the UI usually doesn't block anything important. The gameplay can also start to feel a bit stale if you play for long stretches, but there's always something to do, whether it's grinding for materials or making your way through the story, and the variety of rewards and progression systems help to keep things moving. As you keep playing and leveling up, you'll start to open the game up with more and more game modes. The main story mode is actually split into 2 sections, Stem, which covers the main narrative, and Branch, which gives you access to side stories, but there are 3 other game modes as well, including Memento, Nightfall, and Crimson Campaign. There's also 4 smaller modes where you can rack up progression rewards, and for free-to-play players, they offer a lot of good value if you're willing to put the time in. Once you get to a high enough level, you'll also gain access to the game's social mechanics and get to join alliances, play PvP matches, and utilize other features. You'll probably find yourself wanting to spend most of your time in the 2 story modes, but the other game modes are packed with useful upgrades and progression materials, so if you're looking to strengthen your characters and team, they're definitely worth your time. Marvel Mystic Mayhem also has a lot of monetization, but I'm not going to give it a hard time since, firstly, it's a free-to-play game, and secondly, it's absolutely playable without dropping any real-world money. You can buy bundles, keys, a battle pass, some characters, as well as a few other items, but there are also plenty of ways to earn rewards and content just by playing as well. There are timed events and daily login bonuses that you can cash in on, and you earn plenty of rewards just by completing missions. Personally, I rarely ever put real-world money into games like these, and I haven't felt the need to do so with Marvel Mystic Mayhem so far either. It never once felt pay-to-win to me. It's grindy for sure, don't get me wrong, and paying for items is sure to make it easier, but it's still fun and completely playable without spending a dime. I also have to praise the game's overall presentation as well. Marvel Mystic Mayhem leans into a stylized anime/comic book look, with characters that really come alive during in-game animations, as well as in cutscenes that are presented in an animated webcomic format and perfectly match the overall vibe.
I'm the Fist of Khonshu. I protect night travelers.
Some of the visuals can look pretty rough at times, especially during some animations where the camera gets close up to the character models and you can see some low-resolution textures, but for a mobile game, it looks really good overall. The voice acting is also really strong, with performances that feel genuine and well-matched to each character, while the music and sound design are both polished and help keep your head in the game.
This is what I've trained for.
Of course, Marvel Mystic Mayhem is a mobile game, so it's not free from performance issues, but compared to a lot of other games, it plays pretty well. During my first hour of play, I ran into a couple of instances of visuals locking up during cutscenes, along with some stuttering and frame drops, but battery drain is the real thing to consider here. I'm playing this on an iPhone 14, so my phone isn't really that old, but it still chewed through my battery life pretty quickly anyway. If you're playing this game at home and have access to a charger, it probably won't be too much of an issue, but it's definitely not the type of game I'd play while I'm out and about. Aside from that though, gameplay has been stable and there weren't any serious issues that got in the way of anything.
Not on my watch, Dream Demon.
It's clear that a lot of care went into Marvel Mystic Mayhem. Sure, it is a mobile game and it falls into a lot of the mobile game stereotypes with the grinding and monetization, but it's also a pretty fun strategy game that leans heavily into the mystical side of the Marvel universe.
Wait. Something is wrong.
The gameplay and story aren't as deep or as complex as something like Marvel's Midnight Suns, and the gameplay can sometimes get repetitive, but it still makes you put some thought into your moves, and for a free-to-play game, it delivers a really solid experience. There's always something to grind toward or unlock, even if you choose not to spend any money, and the roster is filled with both familiar faces and some fun surprises. Plus, with more content promised to be on the way, I'm sure this game will be sticking around for a while, and I think that if you're even slightly interested in this game, it's worth downloading for free and deciding for yourself.
Less talking, more squashing, Pally.
As always though, this is just my opinion. Whether you're just making your way into the dreamscape, or you've already taken Nightmare and his allies down, let me know in the comments what you think of Marvel Mystic Mayhem.
Well done. Only minor protocol violations.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.